He has no strings, and now he's free. There are no strings on me. We're talking What If Episode 8, What If Ultron won? Here on Applesauce and Baloney, I'm Thor.
I'm Eric, and woo! This is what we've been talking about, folks. This is what we've been talking about. I can feel you. I can sense you. Like, wait, oh, what? Man. Evil Ultron is coming for the Watcher, and look out, folks.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you know, what a way to build up all the episodes to this point, you know, where we kind of, when we first got What If, we thought, hey, here's a bunch of non-related one-off episodes that are all going to be kind of fun. And then they showed us that they're not all kind of fun, and they gave us some probably deep-seated depression. But there's an underlying story that they've been telling us that we didn't know about, and it's
such
amazing.
A great slow burn.
Yeah, I'm so happy with where we're at now in this season. I can't wait for the next episode. Next week is going to kill me waiting for it, because this is the ultimate cliffhanger of all the cliffhangers they've given us so far.
So if you so obviously we're again as always on Applesauce and Baloney, we assume we release these so that we've given you plenty of time. We don't feel like we should have to do a spoiler alert, but spoiler alert, we're talking about the latest episode of What If, which is the click 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 clack before the free fall of the last episode. Is it one or two episodes?
There's one episode left.
One episode left. And I knew it. I knew it this time, because when it was very rushed, the beginning of this episode was very rushed as far as getting to, you know, oh, this one breaks my heart. You know, like Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher, he takes us through this story a lot quicker so that we can get to the real story. And that's the badass, like, main event of the What If fight between the Watcher of all reality and Ultron, who has the Infinity Stones. So we'll get. So I think this is other than the stuff with Hawkeye and Black Widow, which I know you want to get into. So we'll start there. But the end fight in this, the end through the multiverse, like boxing match that this turns into is
that was wild. That was so wild. But yeah, I want to start with Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Absolutely,
I enjoyed that so much. You know, all the props to Disney.
Got me right here.
All the props for Disney to go back and give us all the content that, like, you know, they gave us more Crossbones. They're giving us more Black Widow. They're giving us more Hawkeye. Jeremy Renner obviously deserves his due. He's a great actor. He's a great character. Mm-hmm. I loved his voice in this, even though we didn't get Scarlett Johansson. We got Jeremy Renner.
Right, and I wanted to just make a real quick comment on that. Like, I very much feel like this episode, a lot of the emotional milestones for Hawkeye, why he's like, I'm real low on, you know, the whole, when the nukes go off, he's like, Lara, you know, and in parentheses, the kids. I think this is really setting us up for his emotional beats and what motivates him in the Hawkeye show that we're going to see next.
Absolutely. No, it's great to see more of his character. I know when the Avengers first came out, he was a little bummed out that he just got to be kind of a side villain. It's going to be great to see him in the Hawkeye show.
Yeah, side character. Topic. Yeah, a side guy.
Yeah, but I mean, to get the post-apocalyptic end of ages, and you know, this age of Ultron, you know, and then with the Black Widow, obviously going back to her home turf of Russia, we get a reveal where she finds the Red Guardian's shield. That if you've watched the Black Widow movie, you realize is her adoptive
father. Yep.
And we get to see her kind of taking on the mantle of Captain America in this bit where she gets the shield.
Well, and one more bit on Hawkeye. I really felt like this episode of What If centers around, you know, people might say, you know, kind of like to Hawkeye, and they make fun of it, and they're very meta about it in the Age of Ultron movie, which this episode is heavily centered around. Is what if at that penultimate moment when the Avengers are able to get Vision in instead of Ultron, I mean, the consequences that this episode sets up of what happens if that doesn't happen
Yeah.
is huge.
Well, and it's
but really, just to finish my thought is Hawkeye, his superpower is his family. And this episode, I think, really brings it home that without Lara and his kids, Hawkeye is not. He turns into Ronin. He turns bad. He
absolutely,
doesn't have the
because
will
they
to
gave
live.
him the haircut. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Without his grounding moral center, Hawkeye goes off the rails. But absolutely, yeah, and it shows. There's been a lot of talk on the internet of the way that Ultron uses the Infinity Stones in this episode, and how
Sure.
they kind of feel that it shows that like maybe they're underpowering the movies, and I don't know if I
Not at all. Not
I
at
don't
all.
think
Because
I believe that, because what it shows to me,
Sure.
what it really shows to me is that when the Vision had the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so obviously you've seen it. So Ultron just zaps the crap out of Thanos when he appears. Just eviscerates him.
Oh
cuts
my
him in
God!
half.
So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about that moment.
Well, let me
really bad.
wrap up my point.
Sure,
We'll get
sure,
back
sure,
to
sure,
it.
sure.
So people are like, well, that makes what Vision went through. That really diminishes his arc, and I'm like, no, it doesn't.
I
It
disagree.
really shows the difference between Vision, who is now a hero, he's an Avenger, with
Right.
all the other heroes, that they interact with power in a different way than our Marvel villains interact with power. Ultron gets ultimate power, and he just, snap, you're dead. It doesn't matter. Vision
Yeah.
has ultimate power, and his whole thing is, I'm going to talk to you. We're going to resolve this. He's going to ship a Theseus you.
Yep.
It's the difference in characters, and that's, if you don't understand that, ultimately you don't understand what makes a hero and a villain.
Right, and that was a great like WTF moment in What If,
Yeah.
when Thanos comes out and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of a badass, and then he's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
interesting, Zot. There was a moment
Yeah.
where I was like, does Thanos go out that easy? But of course he does.
Of course he does.
That Thanos is showing up ready to fight an Avengers level threat. The Avengers the Avengers couldn't have beat Thanos unless they beat Ultron. So for all of Tony Stark's mistakes, the only things that allowed them to beat Thanos in the end was everything that they did wrong and right up to Age of Ultron. So
Well, and it just goes back to what I was just saying, is that yes, the Avengers at any point could have killed Thanos very easily. Thor could have gone for the head. Doctor Strange could have used his ring, his sling ring, to cut his arm off. There's
Exactly.
a million different ways that could have gone down. But
Right.
again, the Doctor Strange, just one. There's just one way that this is going to go down.
Yeah.
And it just shows us the difference between heroes and villains in my book.
So Thanos shows up, and that's supposed to be our big bad villain. And again, Marvel is just hitting us over and over and over, and I think this is very wise, hitting us over and over and over. Like, oh, you thought the Infinity Stones were the end all be all of power in the Marvel universe? You're wrong, because they go out of their way in this last episode to show us. And again, even as powerful as Ultron is, one of my favorite lines in this whole episode is the Watcher going like, you cannot calculate. You, Ultron, who can use the Infinity Stones, and this is going to be my thing about Thanos or Ultron using the Infinity Stones better than Thanos, was that of course he's going to use them better than Thanos, because Thanos may be a mad genius, the mad titan, but he's not the ultimate computer in the universe. So
Right.
So Ultron's ability to use the Infinity Stones is going to far surpass Thanos. So it's like to have Thanos for a moment when Thanos shows up and he's got all the Infinity Stones but the Soul Stone, I'm like, how has he just let Ultron cut him in half? Well, it's because he shows up thinking one dude has the Soul Stone and I just have to take it from him. And Ultron is already like, he's already defeated all the Avengers who, if they had been united in Infinity War, could have defeated Thanos.
Right. And it's an Ultron again that has no compunction of taking life and,
Not at
and
all.
doing whatever he needs to the means to an end. Where
Yeah,
Thanos
he just
is,
wants
is,
silence.
where
Thanos has a very human,
he
organic
has
idea.
one singular goal, and it's to get the stones and wipe out half the life.
Right.
Ultron's goal is ultimate power and ending everything. So the
And
scope
only
of the
being
two
Ultron,
is,
because Ultron's the only voice that Ultron can handle.
Yeah. So, and again, I've seen a lot of people talking about this on the internet, bitching about, we got a whole series of
We don't care
shows.
about them. This is
no.
this is not the show for you. If you care about what they think on the internet, this is not the show for you.
Yeah. No, I think it's funny because everyone's like, oh my God, you've given us, 6 episodes of Tony Stark dying over and over
Right.
and over again.
And we
the
saw
writers-
it, and you were correct. You
Yeah.
were correct in our last
Yeah.
Applesauce and Baloney post. We did get to see Iron Man die again.
Yeah.
And
So-
you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Which
So
I love, by the
ultimately-
way. So let me pivot real quick into the Watcher, because from Tony Stark saying, he says you don't have to do this. So does the Watcher in his final moments in his battle with Ultron. And how great was the final reveal as Jeffrey Wright as a full-blooded, feeling human character in this What If.
Yeah. He's no more the celestial, not God celestial, not what we're going to get in Eternals, but celestial being where he's behind the veil. We
And
get
he
a
made a
full-on
note.
flesh
It's
and blood.
almost like these Watchers. It's almost like these Watchers are these very normal people that get
that have been
by the
tasked
Celestials.
with,
They have to make an oath, and then they can be Watchers. But man, that moment, the fight between, oh my God, in this episode, the fight between the Watcher and Ultron, and all of the tropes and all of the shields and all of the Easter eggs from all the Watcher stuff that he pulls out, where he's like, you cannot compute my level of will, was so awesome.
Yeah, and it shows again, like you said, that there's this stacking level of power that we're getting in the Marvel universe, and this whether it's a quantum realm or a celestial realm or whatever we're getting with the Watcher, there are levels of power far beyond what we get with Ultron, far beyond what we get with the Infinity Stones, that they're just going to keep ramping this up, and it's just going to keep getting more and more amazing.
But still tying that Ultron never would have been this powerful had it not been for Tony Stark wanting to put a shield around the world. Just a decision like that. If we're going to go down into like the minutia of each What If episode, that's what I love is that the Watcher talking about the moment with I think another important moment in this episode to talk about is the moment where Clint is about to discover Zola's file.
Yeah. And he's like,
and
it's right
doesn't.
there. It's right there.
It's
Just turn
right
around.
there.
Go
and
further.
he wants to. He wants to break his oath, but he doesn't until the very last moment of the very last second of this episode with Doctor Strange, as you coined him, showing up and saying, but I want you to say it. I want you to say that you need to break your oath. I mean, what a great tie-in. I love it when we're right. You were definitely right about that.
Yeah. No, and again, it kind of goes back to what my thought that I was going to do earlier about Tony Stark is it really shows us that, we get so many points in this What If where Tony Stark dies and then everything goes off the rails. So it really pays so much homage back to the fact that Iron Man was the first really Marvel movie to kick off the MCU. Yeah, there were other Marvel movies before
it was the first Marvel.
But Tony Stark kicks off this universe, and it really shows that without a Tony Stark, everything else goes wrong.
It's an immutable point of time, as they say in some of these other, especially in the Doctor Strange, which now that's coming back because he's the Watcher's first ally, and what we can expect to be the final episode, which is our Defenders of the Universe we've been talking about. We can expect that Doctor Strange, as you have coined him, Vampire Doctor Strange, is going to find a way for the Watcher to find that loophole to save the universe.
Yeah.
Because he has to.
The Watcher doesn't technically have to save the universe. The Watcher just has to give Doctor Strange the power to save the universe.
Right.
He just has to give him the out of how to get to the other.
He just has to bend the rules of interfering enough to exactly.
Yeah.
Because the only and that's a great point that you made, because the only other person our lead in, and where I knew this was going when the Watcher started talking behind Ultron after our little truncated little mini what if episode of What If Ultron won, when the Watcher starts talking and you see the Vision's eyes go, you see Ultron Vision's eyes go, we know he hears him. And we know that Ultron can hear him because we know that Doctor Strange... Yeah. And so that's our level of power. Doctor Strange, evil Doctor Strange, was able to possess all this power in the universe to try to control reality. And he just barely could conceive of the Watcher. This is how powerful Ultron is.
Yeah.
Way more powerful.
Yeah. So, and that kind of brings up something that I was a little confused about.
Sure.
Is at the end of the Thor episode, we get the Watcher saying, "And they lived happily ever after." And then Ultron shows up. And he goes, "Wait, what?" And then we start this episode and we get him watching the Black Widow.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And then then he starts monologuing, and the Ultron Vision goes, "I can hear you." So, how do these two tie together? Is it the same Watcher? Is it different?
No,
aspects?
it is. Here's my theory. It's the same Watcher. We're just dramatically seeing it a little out of phase than normal in time. We're seeing the events of this last episode are happening concurrently with Party Thor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
gotcha.
Where when we're hearing the Ultron has gone to all these other realities, and even before his big I'm gonna eat the universe. Actually, not the universe, a galaxy. Which is a great lead-in, and other websites and other people have brought into this absolutely sets up how you can have a Galactus. If Ultron can be so powerful as to eat an entire galaxy with the Infinity Stones, then that helps us believe in a Galactus.
Yeah, and we have a visual representation of what that can look like.
Exactly.
It didn't break my brain. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But we'll put a pin in that for now. But back to the task at hand. He's able to use that level of power on the Watcher, and the Watcher is still able to fight his way out, and he's going to go find. But again, the key is in this last reality, where in his home reality. Even the Watcher knows this. Even if he knows if he intercedes, the home game, the end game, is getting Zola's virus,
the code,
into Ultron. And so my guess is that the next episode is going to be all about just getting all these people sacrificing themselves. Star-Lord, T'Challa, Captain Carter, all these people just playing for the end game to get this virus by Zola into Supreme Ultron.
Yeah. So that's your thought of how they're gonna wrap it up. They're gonna.
That's my thought. Is that the Watcher is gonna be sort of like the Nick Fury, if you will,
right.
The galactic, the universal, the multiversal Nick Fury, and he directly can't interfere.
Yeah.
But if he can just put these different personalities together, then he can save the multiverse. And he hasn't really violated his oath.
Right.
But it's almost to the point where Doctor Strange leaves him at the end of this episode, where I want to hear you say it, that you need to. There are times where you do need to intercede. And again, start the countdown. I think this is all leading us back to one name. Kang!
Well, I mean, So I mean, this is gonna put an all new number system on here because I'm going to agree with you.
Yes.
I think this all ultimately is setting us up for what we're gonna see in Spider-Man, for what we're gonna ultimately see in the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It's
God,
all
I
setting us
love
up,
it when you tell me I'm right. I love it when you
it's
tell
all
me I'm
it's
right.
all setting us up to understand what's going to happen when Kang shows up and deal with multiverses, which leads me into my favorite moment of this whole episode. Is you brought it up, is when Ultron is just pummeling the Watcher, and they're
So
going
great,
through,
dude.
through reality,
So great.
through reality, through reality, through the reality.
Oh
through
my God! Like through the Kree, the Krull, like Xandar,
Yeah.
like
we get a
like,
medieval castle. The people are saying that they end up on Star Wars Mustafar at one point.
right.
So you know we maybe saw X-wings in the T'Challa episode. So maybe Marvel's even teasing that Star Wars is out there in some multiverse, which is cool. But
I need a brain transplant before I can handle that. But go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite moment. What was yours?
Oh, probably my favorite moment is, again, going back to where we haven't talked enough about is Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton, and the just the connection of those characters. And again, I'm so sad that we couldn't have Scarlett Johansson. I mean, nothing against the voice actress that did Black Widow, but for me, the turn of him just being like his heart, just like Ronan, being torn out, and that last moment where I realized, like, oh man, this is going into the next episode. The next episode is going to be a two-parter. Is him doing exactly what Black Widow does in Endgame when she sacrifices herself for the soul crystal, for the soul Infinity Stone. Clint does the same thing to buy them time, and they set it up so beautifully. I think, like, for all the cool multiversal stuff, all the flash and bang of this episode, the thing that hit me the most was him, the reversal of their situation in Endgame, where he sacrifices himself for her to win the Endgame.
Yeah, because it was the heart of the episode, you know, to go to your point. And it's the humanity of the episode. And really, that's what these movies are all about.
Got me right here.
Humanity. Yeah, right in the feels.
Right in the
all
cockles.
The feels.
Yeah, right in the feels.
And you know, and I mentioned it to you the other day. It's just puts one more pin in that, you know, the fact that I'm gonna miss that we're never gonna get more Black Widow. I'm gonna miss that we're never gonna be able to see a live action because I would absolutely have loved to have seen a Black Widow and Hawkeye show or movie. It would have been amazing. I know we're going to get some great stuff with Elena Bolova when she's in the Hawkeye show, but I'm going to miss Nat.
But you know, the time that ScarJo and Jeremy Renner spent on those characters they did a lot with a little, and they set up a whole area of feels in this that I honestly didn't expect. I didn't expect to feel for these two, you know, and they're throwaway lines, and you're very aware that they're just throwaway lines. But the actors and the writers, but especially the actors, do a really good job of selling it. Like, these two have a history, they have a relationship. Maybe in the future we could get a recasting of a younger Jeremy Renner and a younger Scarlett Johansson to play younger Black Widow and Hawkeye and show us,
fun.
You know, what happened in Bolivia or Bogota or whatever, when they talk about, like, you remember that much differently than me. Whatever. I'm sure you'll ding it up right now. But it was really cool to see
Budapest.
him. That no matter what reality we're in, no matter what worst version of reality we're in, that Hawkeye and Black Widow would sacrifice themselves for each other. Yeah.
So that kind of brings us up to the end of this episode. I'm sure there's lots of stuff that we didn't talk about. If we missed something, definitely hit it in the comments. Next up,
please like and subscribe.
Yeah,
we'd love to see what you think of what we're doing. But also this last episode I cannot wait for. This last episode of What If is going to be holy moly.
Yeah. So next week obviously we'll be back with more What If. Talking the final episode, Guardians of the Multiverse. We're also going to be having some comment coming up. We're going to be talking about Venom. We're going to get around to go and see the Venom movie. Comes
Venom,
out,
man!
Comes out next week.
Let there be carnage. Let there be carnage.
And then so after that, we're obviously looking forward to Spider-Man. We're looking forward to Eternals. We're probably going to give you some No Time to Die. It's not Marvel, but we both love James Bond. So
I got to do my James Bond.
do 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 do. So,
for sure, keep hanging with us. We're only going to get better. We can't get any worse. Maybe we can.
Yeah, we're going to try really hard not to. But definitely, like Eric said, like, share, subscribe, and join us for next time. Until then, we'll see ya.